slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Immediately face two pressures: solve the crime, reassure a frightened community. And those two goals do not always move in the same speed. Investigators require silence, time, and methodical review. Communities demand answers. That tension defines the early days of this case. Before this case became about timelines, affidavits, or even forensic debate, it was about 4 young people whose lives were in motion. Because before November 13th, they weren't part of a case. They were part of a future. Keely was approaching graduation. According to public statements from her family, she'd already secured employment in Texas and was preparing for the next phase of her life. She recently purchased a vehicle, a Range Rover, a detail her family later mentioned as symbolic of her independence and excitement about what was ahead. Friends described her as outgoing, loyal, and protective of people she loved. Keely and Madison had known each other for years, long before university. Their friendship stretched back into adolescence. That longevity matters. It tells you something about stability, about a shared history and trust. Her family later spoke publicly about her energy and drive. They did not describe someone that was drifting. They described someone that was accelerating. In a university town, the final semester is often transitional. Part student, part professional. Keely was reportedly in that stage. which makes the timing particularly painful. Madison was also 21. She studied marketing and was close to completing her degree. Her friends described her as steady, warm, and deeply consistent, someone who didn't just cycle through friends, but built them over time. Her relationship with Keeley was not circumstantial, it was long-standing. Family members later described Madison as someone who made people feel included. Those descriptions appeared repeatedly in interviews and memorials. When examining the case like this, it's easy to compress two victims into a single narrative because they were together that night. But they were distinct individuals. Madison was not defined by being with Keeley. She had her own trajectory, academic, personal, and social, and that distinction matters. Zaina was 20 years old. She studied marketing and worked part-time, and was described by friends as energetic and protective. Those who knew her described her as someone who stood up for people, someone who was not passive in her relationships. She was in a relationship with Ethan at the time. When looking at this case, couples can also become a single narrative, but again, it is important not to flatten them. Zaina had her own cycle, her ambitions, her own academic path. In interviews following the tragedy, her family spoke about her strength and determination. That framing appears consistent across all reportings. Ethan was also 20 years of age. He was a triplet, a detail that in this case resonates strongly. Being one of triplets means growing up with a built-in compassion, a shared childhood, a shared rhythm. Ethan studied recreation and sports and tourism management. His friends described him as easygoing, friendly, someone who navigated campus life comfortably. Family statements consistently reference his sense of humour and steadiness. When crimes involving young adults, there is often abruptness to loss. This was not someone at the end of a cycle. This was someone who was just beginning. In the days following November 13th, the University of Idaho cancelled all classes and vigils were held. Memorials appeared across the campus. Students who walked the same sidewalk as the victims now walked them under police presence. Parents questioned safety. The campus safety measures were reviewed. The effect was not confined to a single house. It spread across the whole university ecosystem. Before investigators could build a suspect profile, they had to understand something more fundamental: the house. 1122 Kings Road was not a single level residence. It was built into a slope, 3 floors, staggered elevation, multiple entry possibilities. This matters because in a violent crime reconstruction, architecture becomes evidence. Public records and archive listings and photographs show there were 3 levels. Bedrooms on each level, a shared kitchen and living area on the middle floor, a sliding glass door providing access from the rear, multiple staircases connecting all the levels. The lowest level contained bedrooms, at least one of the surviving roommates. The middle level contained common areas and additional bedrooms. The upper level contained 2 bedrooms, including where 2 victims were located. From the exterior, depending on the angle, the house appears to be 2 levels. But from the rear, it is clearly 3. This asymmetric affects sightlines, it affects entry points, it affects sound travel. The documented access points include front door, ground level from the street side. Sliding glass door, middle level, rear access. Windows, not publicly confirmed as an entry point. The probable cause affidavit does not conclusively state which entrance was used. However, the affidavit does note that a sliding door was present and a masked figure was seen walking towards that direction. This is an important distinction. Walking towards. It does not equal a confirmed exit. When reconstructing potential movement, investigators must consider the following. Could someone have approached the rear without being easily seen from the street? Was the rear area shielded by landscaping or elevation? Were there exterior lights? Were they functioning? Photographs show that the rear of the house faced a parking area and neighbouring properties. The slope allowed someone to approach from above or from the side without directly passing the front entrance. That doesn't confirm entry path, but it explains investigative focus. Movement inside the house required vertical transitioning. If someone entered on the middle floor, they would have immediately have access to the kitchen and living area. Staired access to the upper levels, staired access to the lower level bedrooms. Vertical homes complicate auditory perception. Sound does not travel evenly across the floors. Noise upstairs may not sound the same as downstairs. That becomes relevant when analysing the surviving roommate's statements. We must be careful here. The affidavit documents the following. The crying was heard. A male voice was heard. Movement. It does not describe extended noise. In multi-level homes, sound can be amplified through the stairwells, or muffled by the flooring and walls, distorted by the sleep state. Investigators likely examined the floor insulation, the distance between rooms, the orientation of the staircases. But the public record does not detail a full acoustic analysis. So, we do not invest one. We acknowledge uncertainty. Here's what can be reasonably stated. If entry occurred via the sliding door, the suspect would have entered directly into the middle level. There is an immediate access to the stairs going upward and downward. If the entry occurred via the front door, approach from the street side is required, which provides potential increased visibility. We cannot state definitively which was used unless the court testimony confirms it. But we can explain structural logic. The estimated window is approximately 25 minutes. Within that span, investigators allege the following happened. Entry. Movement across the levels. Multiple victims. Exit. Is that feasible in 25 minutes? Technically, yes. Is that confirmed minute by minute? No. That distinction is critical. Investigations reconstruct possibilities based on the following. Medical examiner timeline, blood pattern analysis, survivor statements, surveillance timestamps. But the public filings do not provide second by second mapping, so we should avoid filling in the blanks. Early morning hours pre-dawn, was the interior light working? Was the exterior lights active? The affidavit does not confirm any of this. Low light environments affect the following. Witness description reliability, surveillance clarity. Again, this is contextual. It's not a declaration. At trial, prosecutors often use the following. 3D models, floor plan diagrams, laser scanning, recreations, animation sequences, layout visualizations to help the jurors understand the following. Where individuals were located, how movement occurred, what could be seen, what could be heard. The physical house becomes a silent witness. Against that, the defence attorneys may examine whether alternative entries were possible, whether the timeline assumptions rely on inference, whether witness perceptions was limited by angle or darkness. Architecture is neutral. Interpretation is not. That tension defines the courtroom debate. One of the reasons this case resonated nationally is because the setting felt so familiar. It was not a remote cabin. It was not an isolated rural property. It was a typical student's rental. The familiarity amplifies fear, and that fear amplifies scrutiny. To understand the early morning of November 13th, investigators first had to understand November 12th. In homicide investigations, the hours before the crime matter, not because they want to reveal a motive, but they want to establish the following. Who was where? Who was with whom? When did people separate? When did they all return? Every confirmed movement becomes an anchor point, and an anchor point tightens a tight knot. Saturday, November 12th began like a typical college weekend. The University of Idaho campus was active. Fraternities held events and students gathered downtown. Nothing publicly reported from earlier in the day suggested conflict or emergency. That normalcy matters because it establishes a baseline of behaviour. According to surveillance footage and reportings, Keeley and Madison were seen at the Corner Club bar in downtown Moscow. The Corner Club is known as a student gathering point. Later, they were seen at a food truck at around approximately 1:40 a.m. The food truck's footage became widely circulated. Why does that matter? Because it has provided visual confirmation of presence, time-stamped movements, clothing identification, behavioural normacies. In that footage, nothing appears overly alarming. They are all interacting socially. They appear aware, stable, engaged in typical late-night behaviour. Investigators later used this footage to confirm timing. Public reporting indicated that Keeley and Madison returned to the Kings Road residence after the food truck stop. The probable cause affidavit references their arrival around approximately 1:45 a.m. and 1:50 a.m. That timestamp becomes critical because once they are back inside the house, the investigative timeline narrows. From the moment forward, investigators look inward, not outward. Zayna and Ethan reportedly attended a fraternity event earlier that evening. Fraternity gatherings are not unusual college settings. What matters is timing. Public reporting indicates that they returned to the Kings Road residence around approximately 1:45 a.m. So roughly around 1:45, 1:50 a.m, all four victims were inside the residence. That creates a shared anchor point. The residence was not just occupied by only 4 people. 2 roommates survived. According to the public records, they were inside the home during the early morning hours. This is significant. It means the house was not empty. Movement inside would not be isolated. Sound would travel. Investigators had to reconcile survivor accounts with physical evidence. According to public record documents, there were phone communications between some of the victims in the hours before 4 a.m. Exact details are contained in the filing, but what matters narratively is the following. There is no publicly documented evidence of distress during those early hours. No 911 calls, no reports of an argument, no emergency dispatch prior to the estimated window. That absence matters because it frames the timeline as normal to sudden disruption. Between approximately 2 a.m. and 4 a.m, there is limited public documentation of usual activity. Later, investigators rely heavily on mobile phone data, surveillance review, survivor statements. When documentaries skip this window, they skip tension. But this is the part that makes reconstruction difficult, because it is a quiet window, no alarms, no public disturbances, no immediate report, and that gap becomes investigative territory. In murder cases, gaps do not automatically imply something hidden. They imply uncertainty. Investigators ask who was awake, who was asleep, were there lights on, were the doors locked, was anyone expecting someone to come over? If there is no forced entry documented publicly, that question becomes even more complex. Again, we avoid speculation, but we acknowledge investigative questions. By this stage of the investigation, police were already reviewing. They were looking at downtown cameras, traffic cameras, residential security systems, business exterior footage. Surveillance does not just identify suspects. It eliminates variables. For example, if no unknown individuals are seen entering the home before 4 a.m, that matters. If no suspicious activity is observed during the certain time blocks, that matters. Elimination is just as important as identification. Documentary depth includes the context. This was a Saturday night in a college town. Social activity is normal. Late returns are normal. Noise is normal, which means early morning movement might not automatically raise alarms. In environments where late night activity is common, unusual presences blends in more easily. That contextual understanding strengthens narrative credibility. 1:45 a.m. becomes the last confirmed shared anchor point for all 4 victims being inside the residence. From 1:45 a.m. to approximately 4 a.m, investigators rely on inference built from the following: digital data, witness recollections, surveillance timestamps. That is why the 25-minute crime window carries such weight, because everything before that feels ordinary, and everything after that feels catastrophic. Between approximately 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m, investigators believe the killings occurred. The 25-minute window is not dramatic storytelling. It is an estimate derived from overlapping sources. According to the probable cause affidavit, that estimate is built from the following: the surviving roommate's accounts, surveillance footage of a white Hyundai Elantra, and mobile phone data patterns. The surviving roommate reported waking up around 4 a.m. She initially believed she heard Keely playing with her dog. That detail matters. It suggests movement, not silent. It suggests activity, not stillness. Investigators later align this with the vehicle presence in the area around that time. But the affidavit does not claim the exact second of entry. It places entry within an estimated window. According to the affidavit, the roommate later reported hearing crying. She also reported hearing a male voice saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." That statement becomes psychologically loaded in public conversations. But legally, it is simply part of a sensory account. The affidavit does not claim who said it. It does not claim the tone of voice. It does not claim the duration. It records the statement as reported, and in the court, that phrasing would likely read exactly as it's written. At some point during this window, the surviving roommate opened her bedroom door. She reported to see a masked male figure walking towards a sliding glass door. She described black clothing, a mask covering nose and mouth, and bushy eyebrows. Important distinction here. The affidavit does not state she identified the individual. It does not state she knew who it was. It states what she observed and observational evidence. Identification is a separate legal category. According to the affidavit, surveillance footage captured a white Hyundai Elantra moving near the residence between approximately 3:29 a.m. and 4:20 a.m. Multiple passes were recorded. The vehicle is reported to have departed at approximately 4:17 at a higher rate of speed. When you overlay the survivor account around 4:12 and vehicle departure at 4:17, you see alignments. Not proof, but alignments. This strengthens probable cause. The window is approximately 25 minutes. Within that span, investigators believe the following happened: entry, movement across levels, multiple attacks, exit. So is 25 minutes really enough? In terms of feasibility, yes. But the affidavit does not break down its sequence minute by minute. It does not describe exact order of events, exact duration in each room, exact time between each incident. That level of reconstruction would typically emerge through forensic testimony, so we must remain disciplined here. One of the most striking elements of this case is the absence of an immediate 911 call. The roommate reported hearing sounds, but there was no reported extended disturbance. This raises investigative consideration. Was music playing? Were doors closed? Were the victims asleep? Did the vertical structure of the house muffle sounds? The public record does not answer all of these, but the architecture and the sleep state both affect perception. In multiple level homes, sound could be directional and distorted. This is an explanation, not speculation. Surveillance reportedly captured the vehicle leaving the area at an increased speed after 4:17 a.m. This timestamp is crucial because it aligns with the final reported movements inside the house. It tightens the narrative. In court, prosecutors would likely present the following: camera timestamp verification, route mapping, speed analysis. The defence would later likely examine the following: the camera's calibration, light distortion, and identification certainties. But within the affidavit framework, departure time becomes a structural anchor. According to the affidavit, the suspect's phone began reconnecting to the network south of Moscow around 4:48 a.m. That timestamp occurs roughly 30 minutes after the estimated departure. This becomes part of the broadening digital movement analysis, and again, this is alleged in findings. It's not part of trial testimony. In this episode, we are focused on the setting, the town, the victims, the house, and the timeline leading into the early morning hours. But in part 2, the focus shifts. We move into the investigative phase. Next episode, we'll examine how the crime scene was processed and what the forensic work revealed. We'll look at the vehicle evidence and the surveillance analysis that helped narrow the scope of investigation. We'll examine the role of DNA, including the genetic genealogy and the significance of the trash pool that became a crucial turning point. And we'll break down the cell data and digital forensics that investigators used to reconstruct the movements and build their case. Part 2 is about evidence, how it was collected, how it was interpreted, and how it shaped the direction of the investigation. So join me on part 2 of this investigation of the Idaho murders. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and comment below. If you have any ideas of any stories that you'd like me to look into, please again comment below. The evidence may close the case, but the question often remains. If you want to explore more stories like this, join me next time.